Today, I have 14 tips to be a good homemaker or become a better homemaker. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Anna, and if you're not new, then you all know that I love being a woman. I love being a homemaker. So today I'm going to bring to you 14 things that are going to help you become a better homemaker. But before we get started, what I want to start doing at the beginning of the videos is maybe doing a high and a low of the week. I thought that this would be really fun to kind of bring the community together. So for the high, we just talk about or comment something that was kind of a praise this week, something that we are just super excited about. Or if you had a low this week, how can we, myself and everyone in the community that reads through the comments, how can we pray for you this week? I really want to start doing that. I think that that will help us build each other up. And I don't want this little community that we have going to go to waste. I think that we can pray for each other, celebrate with each other, and I'll go ahead and go first. So for me, my high this week was getting to see all of my family that I haven't seen in a really long time. My mom, my dad passed away 7 years ago, roughly, and my mom is getting remarried. So they had their engagement party this past weekend, and I just got to see all of my family and a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time. And that was just it was just really special to kind of have everybody there together, and the kids were playing and there was food, and it was chaotic, but it was really fun at the same time. So that's my high for the week. Comment your high below, or if you had a low and you need us to pray for you, then comment that as well. So let's get into the topic. Um, the first, I want to preface this video by saying this, and this is so important. You do not have to have a magazine style home. It does not have to look like, a Pinterest board. And it just does not have to be perfect for you to be a good homemaker. I know that within the influencer and kind of just like the internet world, there's so much perfection. And I think that it holds a lot of people back from wanting to be good homemakers, or feel like they can be a good homemaker because their house doesn't look a certain way. Or maybe even you don't have a house, maybe you have an apartment, or maybe things aren't finished in your house. Like, I know that everyone thinks that my home is, kind of completed or whatever, but it's really not. There's so many things that you guys don't see. For instance, like my bathroom is in its original state. So when my husband bought this house, he did a ton of remodeling on it and did the floors. He ripped up all of the carpet, and there was luckily hardwood in this house, and he ripped up all the carpet, and he stained the floors, and he did these beautiful like wooden planks on the ceiling, and he painted those and did paint on all the house. But there's so many things that are unfinished, like for instance, the bathroom. It is in its original state, and so that whole bathroom needs to be completely gutted. It's not beautiful, it's not aesthetically pleasing. The outside of the house is still like an original brick, and it's not an expensive brick, so it's also not beautiful yet. And those are just things that we're working toward. But in the meantime, even though things aren't finished, like I can even think in our kitchen, our crown molding is not even finished. But I don't let those little things hold me back from being a good homemaker and taking care of what I do have and appreciating what I do have. And so I just encourage you to love what you have and be so grateful that you have a space to call your own and to make it as cozy as you can, even if it's not finished. It's okay. Okay, rant over. So I want to go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's get started. So my first tip to be a good homemaker is just to have a like routine checklist. And basically these you may have to make a list to get started, but eventually it's just kind of something that you know that you're going to wake up and you know that you're going to do. For instance, for me, when I wake up in the morning, I know that I am going to make the beds. I know that I'm going to um, make breakfast for my kids, and I am going to, clean up those dirty dishes. I know I'm going to make everybody's beds. I know that I'm going to tidy up a certain like way every single morning whenever I wake up, and that's just something that is second nature. Like I just do it. That's what I'm going to do. So the second way is to do a load of laundry every single day. I do a load of laundry every single day. There's only 4 of us, so that really helps me keep up with everything. And a little tip, I I've been doing it for probably close to a year now, but I started using my delay cycle on my laundry machine, and a lot of laundry machines have that feature. So something that I've been doing is I'll throw in all the laundry at night, and then I will set it to a timer, which is roughly like 12 to 14 hours. And so I know that that's going to turn on, and it's going to be one less thing that I have to even think about in the morning. And I know, again, when I come back to it that night, I'm throwing that load into the dryer and I'm starting over. And that has really saved just so much time, and it's been a good one. So if you're not using your timer, definitely try that out. So the next thing to do is to strip your bedding once a week. I know a lot of people neglect their bedding, but the it is it is similar to dirty clothes. If you're not showering when you get in your bed every night, then your bedding is kind of like an article of clothing that you are wearing over and over and over again. And it feels so good to get into a fresh set of sheets. All you need is 2 sets. You don't need more than that. And just to kind of alternate those, just designate a day to do that. And it's just, there's nothing better, truly. Okay, so the next thing is to have an ongoing list. And so what I do is I have a little note section in my phone, and I've kind of created this little checklist. And basically, what I do is I'm doing normal things throughout the house, and suddenly I'll notice something and I'm like, ugh, that looks gross. So it could be, a pile of dust bunnies that have collected behind a mirror, or it can be the entertainment center is just covered in dust, or it could really be anything that just kind of pops up that's unexpected, and you can't get to it right away. So you're noticing it, it doesn't look appealing, but you're busy and you don't have time for it. So those things are going to go to that checklist. And so you'll kind of have like this ongoing checklist. And I think that another tip is that you're going to have little moments throughout the day that you're kind of idle. And even as busy as we think we are, we have little tiny micro moments, and we can knock those out because those little things only take a couple of minutes. Usually it takes 5 minutes to do one of those chores. And so for me, it's like my kids will be taking a bath, and I'm like, oh, I really wanted to clean the side of the toilet or whatever it was that I just couldn't get to, but I noticed that it was filthy. So that's just a little tip that really helps me stay on top of those tiny little details in the house, and that has helped me so much. Okay, so the next thing is to have a designated floor cleaning day. And for me personally, I do that on grocery day. And so unless I order groceries and have them delivered, which is pretty rare, my husband typically picks them up on his way home from work. But we have like reusable bags, and those are in the car. He takes those inside sometimes and sits them down, and he'll load up all of the groceries inside of it. So those bags are super just filthy. They're kind of everywhere. And so he brings all of the groceries in, and he's laying them all in the front room. And so that kind of signals to my brain, okay, tonight's floor cleaning night. I'm going to steam the floors tonight. And that is just how I stay on top of a regular steaming routine and keeping the floors nice and clean. So, the next tip is to do a deep clean just twice a year. And once again, those can be times where you feel it's best for you. People, I mean, obviously, spring cleaning is a huge thing. So, after it's been cold for so long, most people love to kind of open up the windows and just kind of clean up some things that have been collecting dust over winter. So, you can find a lot of really detailed checklists on the internet, and you could print one of those out and maybe just check something off, each and every day. But this is just a time for me where I clean my walls, and clean baseboards and ceiling fans and just little and cabinets and just all the nooks and crannies. And I usually do that. For me, I usually try to do that once in the winter and then once in the spring. So something for me personally, I get triggered by Christmas time, having a lot of stuff coming in to the house. And so before I bring all that in, I want things to be nice and clean and tidy. So that's something that I do. And to kind of add to that, I also declutter twice a year. And so for me, I do it before Christmas because I know that I'm going to be bringing a lot into the house. And then I do it again before well, I might be doing it 3 times a year now that I have a daughter, but before she was born, I would do it once before my son's birthday. So I would do a deep clean on toys and get rid of all the stuff, because I know that after his birthday party, it's going to be chaos. He's going to get a lot of new toys and things like that. And so I want to clear out as much space and declutter as much as possible. So just kind of be in the mindset of times in your life where you're going to be bringing a lot in, and just decluttering, getting rid of all of the stuff so you can bring stuff in and just peacefully put things away and organize all of that without just having stuff spilling over absolutely everywhere. Okay, so the next thing that I do to be a good homemaker is I actually don't give my kids all of their toys. I keep all of their toys put away. I've got these giant rope baskets, and they're flexible and they're nice and they're soft. So if the kids do get into them, they're not going to get hurt. And I have 3 of those for each child, and those are just full of all of their toys. And once those are full, obviously I also know it is time to declutter, but I don't give them all of their toys because I know that if they have access to everything, they are going to have it scattered all over the house, and the house is going to be an absolute disaster. So I have a 6 cube cubby hole for in my son's room for their toys. And once a week or sometimes bi-weekly, depending on if they're enjoying things or not, I will take all the old toys and put them away, bring out the rope baskets, kind of dig into everything, and then replace the toys weekly. And so they've got about 6 toys that they're working with over the course of a week, and that helps things not be so chaotic. And sometimes, honestly, it looks chaotic even with just 6 toys because sometimes there's a lot of pieces. So yeah, that is a huge recommendation of mine. Do not give your child access to their toys and their toy boxes because for two reasons. One reason is the chaos, but also it really helps keep things interesting because they'll see something that they haven't seen in a really long time and they'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then they love it that much more. So that's one of my tips. Um, the next thing that I recommend is trying out just one new recipe a week. And that doesn't have to be like an extravagant meal. Sometimes it can be, but it can just be something that you've really been interested in that you want to, give it a go. So that could be, making bread or that could just be like a snack or a dessert or something like that. That it really just kind of keeps homemaking interesting. It helps us personally eat a lot healthier. And one of the ways that I've been able to do that and kind of curate this ongoing list of ideas for making new meals is to go to the library and check out a bunch of cookbooks and just kind of sift through them and see what you like, what you don't like. And that's helped me so much save money because we often buy books that we think are going to be really good, and then we do a couple recipes and then we're just unimpressed, and then you're out what, $15-$20 on this cookbook that you don't even love. So that is like a really great way to save money and to get to try out all the recipes. And sometimes you really love it. Like recently I actually purchased a book because I, I kept rechecking the book out, and my husband was like, you can't keep doing this over and over, you got to take that book back. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to buy it because I really love it and I really didn't want to let it go. Okay, so speaking of food, I really recommend, I'm all about checklists, can't you tell? But I also have a meal checklist on my phone. And so, I put all the meals, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, I kind of compile them all into a checklist. And so when I get ready to do groceries for the week, I can just kind of go through that list and be like, oh, and I know I need to pick out 7 of those, right? So, or 6 of those, and then maybe something new to give it a try. And so I will just go through and I'll be able to just kind of mark those off, and then I can just translate that into a grocery list, and it just takes all the guesswork out of the week and it just makes things so much easier. So I really recommend a meal checklist. Okay, so the next one is kind of fun. You know, there are so many ways to make our homes beautiful and, kind of bringing new things in. But I think that something that, just doesn't get enough attention is going for a walk. And if you see some beautiful flowers literally on the side of the road, pick them. Just pick them. Take some scissors with you or some sort of something to cut them, and just pick them and put them in a vase. And it is amazing what some wildflowers that were growing on the side of the road can do for just like a home. I love fresh flowers in our home, and flowers honestly can get expensive if you buy them, every week or whatever. So now that spring has rolled around, I have honestly just been keeping an eye out when my son and I and my daughter, we go for little walks in the stroller, and I just keep an eye out for anything that I see in nature that I can pick and take home with me and just enjoy it. And I think that, I don't know, it's so nice. Some of my like most favorite flowers have been the ones that I picked from outside and not ones that I bought from the store. Okay, so the next one is more spiritual than, physical, but I really recommend doing a prayer walk in your home. If you've never done that before, it just brings so much peace. And if, like, kind of maybe wait until everybody's out of the house, but just going through your house, asking the Lord to, protect it, protect you from evil, and, maybe just praying for each person. So, maybe going to your husband's side of the bed and just praying over him, pray that he be, a spiritual leader in your home. Pray that the Lord take care of him from day to day, and bless him and give him good night's sleep, take care of his body, take care of his needs, help you take care of his needs, going into your kids' rooms and just praying over that room, and praying that the Lord, um, you know, help them grow up to be godly, and, just whatever is on your heart. And just, you know, I don't do prayer walks often, but usually at the end of the night or at the end of the day, I definitely ask that the Lord protect our home and our space while we sleep, protect us while we sleep. If you guys know anything about my testimony, then you know that I dealt with a series of sleep paralysis and spiritual attacks. And so, yeah, I really put a lot of emphasis on, just asking God to protect our home. And I think it makes such a big difference. And I think that that's part of homemaking that I think a lot of people neglect. Okay, and so, woo, all of that. And just to say, you know, the last thing really is just to give yourself grace when it comes to homemaking. We're not going to be perfect. Things aren't going to always look perfect. We're not always going to be on top of everything. There are some days where the laundry is a mile high, and sometimes the dishes are just piled up, and sometimes people get sick, and sometimes we have these last minute obligations and things to go do, and things cannot always be perfect and in order the way that, some of us want them to be. And so my very last tip is just to give yourself a little bit of grace. It is okay. This world is not your home. The things that are in it really don't matter. And yeah, just give yourself grace. So, wow, if you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this inspired you and encouraged you in some way, especially if you're a young woman and you aspire to be a godly woman and someone who wants to be an excellent homemaker, and you're kind of taking notes on that. Especially if you are, I know that there's some young girls that watch my channel, and I'm just so honored that the Lord would even find me worthy to teach you something. I thank everybody that's here, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you at the next video.